the Libertarian Party deserves nobody's attention because we haven't done anything to gain it. But if we do become a reckonable force in the next couple of years, do you see any hope? And I know you don't agree with the fundamentals of libertarian economics, but if we can unite on ending the current economic system that exists of, the fascist corporate oligarchs running everything, do you think that we could form an alliance temporarily just to kick them out and then disagree afterward?
I think it would take a lot of good PR to do it, but I think it's possible. I think there just needs to be, I don't know, because you know what? I've lost a lot of hope with people on the Democratic side of the aisle. I just think that they've gone insane.
Yeah, they have.
They've gone insane, and I don't think that they can think clearly in that way anymore. I mean, so that's why I say, in order for a third party to rise up, we need to be able to get defectors on both sides in order to join together and to create a big third party, for, let's say, if it's going to be the Libertarian. And that isn't going to happen unless you could get somebody like, let's say you could get a Nina Turner, who's like super far left on the, and for her to suddenly say, okay, I'm going to join the Libertarian Party, and because we're going to get money out of politics, and this is the only way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get a big named Democrat to take a bunch of people with them and say, we're just going to get together on this one issue, and that's what we're going to do, then I don't think it would work, because people are so brainwashed on that side. I thought they would calm down after Trump lost, and they have gotten worse over there. They've become more rabid.
Yeah, the problem is it's not even issue related, right? It's not policy, it's just optics. That's what they're freaking out about. So
yeah,
I mean, even if the Libertarian Party suddenly endorsed Medicare for all, it wouldn't matter, right? Because it's the Libertarian Party, and it's
right. Well, and they just won't work with white supremacists, is what they they're saying. I won't caucus with these white supremacists, these white nationalists. There's no way. And then when I lately, I've been trying to kind of sound the alarm about hate crimes against Asians.
Right.
And the hate crimes are not being perpetuated by white supremacists. That's just not the stats. The data is it's being perpetuated by mostly young Black males against Asians. And, saying that it falls on deaf ears. They make a lot of excuses instead. They're so quick to say any crime against, by a white person against a person of color is obviously a white supremacist who's a Trump supporter. And any crime that is a Black male against somebody, that's not Black, like an Asian or a white or something, they say, no, that's just circumstances, and that's a one-off, or that's, they make excuses. Mm-hmm. I even had a really frustrating conversation yesterday with a dear friend of mine who is absolutely hated Donald Trump, and, basically sat there and made excuses to me about the $2 billion of damage that happened across the country over the summer, which was the most damage. The insurance company said that the insurance companies all claimed that it was the highest number, like the most expensive insurance claims that ever in reported history, the $2 billion, up to $2 billion of damage all across the country. And, he was like, no, the Capitol riot was terrible, and how dare you even make an excuse for it? But everything that happened over the summer was just people angry. They were hurting, and they were crying out for help. And so that's why they went and smashed like my family's business. That's why my family's business was destroyed. Asian, Vietnamese family, our businesses were destroyed, but that's because they were angry at white people. Right. So, and that's so, and I sat there and I was like trying to say, I don't understand this logic here. Like, you're saying it's okay for my family's business to be destroyed one way or the other, but it's not, but so you're saying that what happened at the Capitol was terrible and horrific. And these people all, they're all white supremacy, it's all really bad, but what happened to my family is okay and excusable. I don't understand how anyone can actually say that with a straight face, but they are. And it's so delusional, I just don't know if there's any helping these people right now. I thought they would get better. I really thought they would get better, and they're worse.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah, I agree. And this is, I guess we'll close on this, but I told you before we started recording, I have so much respect for you because you are the only person on the left who was against the lockdowns when it wasn't popular. I mean, now it's slowly becoming more popular. Like I've seen Jimmy Dore even say like, it might have been a mistake. And, some other people. You were saying that when I was saying it, almost a year ago now. And this is related to the racism thing. This has been a cause that corporate right-wing America has been able to hijack because progressives have fallen in line behind it. So many progressives have supported the lockdowns, and they've been supporting them from an idealistic point of view. They're like, well, I support the lockdowns, but I support, UBI and Medicare for all and stimulus payments, blah, 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 blah. And you've been the only sane person who's been saying, well, none of that stuff is coming. So pull your head out of the sand, get real. And
none of that stuff would even work because there's a massive, millions and millions upon people, millions of people who have to work in order to allow all of us to sit in front of our computers. I mean, it was to me so insane to hear the very same people who are saying racism is our problem and we have to protect people of color, then throw those very people under the bus and say, but you need to go to work while I shelter in place. And you need to go cook my food at the restaurant and then deliver it to me through Grubhub and leave your kids at home, while they try to study from home for internet that you probably don't have on computers you don't own. It was so privileged.
Right.
And it was the largest display of privilege for these people to be like, no, if everybody just got money from the government. And it's like, what is that? How does that actually help the cook in the kitchen? How does that help the person at the grocery store? How does that help like the person who has to put labels on the food at the factory or who have to grow the food or package the food or ship the food or get it? All of these things have to continue happening. And that is an entire underground economy filled with a lot of, blue collar workers, many of them people of color. And they just completely were like, okay, but just give everybody money and everybody will be able to shelter in place. No, they wouldn't. And they know that they wouldn't have been able to. So to me, it was just privileged more than anything and unrealistic. It's like, so what? The government can give these people $1 million. You still need to go to the grocery store and get food. Even if they're paying the check or $1 million, what do you think is going to happen? Somebody's still got to be there.